me from stream to stream, you know, and joking and having a good time. They said that made it feel like they were actually coming into somebody's home. And they loved that everybody talks to each other, everybody greets each other and has a good time. I don't know if that's going to fit. Let's find out. That's not. I want to have room for circulation. All right, so this, okay, I guess that would have worked. Okay, let's start over. Maybe that would have worked. Let's find out. All right, so let's just put this in here. Oh yeah, that's gonna work just fancy dancy. I'm trying not to sniff it because I don't want to start coughing again, but I can definitely smell the aroma of the lime. And this is why I don't use dehydrated lime or dehydrated lemons, is because of the fact that if I do, I am missing out on those oils that I need. Come on, don't look at my fingers. All right, we're gonna come in like this. There we go. Look at all that. Look at lime zest, salt, and red pepper flakes. Deliciousness. Deliciousness. Sai, send a private message to one of my mods. Send a private message to one of my mods. And if you're right, your name will get written down, and we're going to put everything into a contest at the end of the month. And you don't need to be, so at the end of the month when we draw the name, you don't have to be present to win if you can't be here for the stream. I will send you a notice via Twitch, and you have about 24 hours to say, hey, yay, send it to me, here's my address. Ready to lock and load. All right, I need one more lid thing for that. That's not in there. All right, last of the this one I'm going to do a quarter of a cup. A quarter of a cup. Oh, tell it like Julia redeemed. That's right. Techie redeemed, tell it like Julia. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to make a more umami salt. And this salt is going to have the flavors of our mushrooms. We have some delightful cremini mushrooms here. And we're going to take a couple of these shiitake mushrooms, and we're going to pulverize these into like a dust or a powder, and we're going to add this to our salt. And this is going to be that nice finishing salt for steaks, and it's also quite delicious on a baked potato and other vegetables. You can use it on there because of that nice umami flavor, which is that nice warm flavor that we get. And I hope that this is something that inspires you to try new salsa and new ways to season them. And now we're going to be working on our loco moco, which is a very popular dish in Hawaii, and I hope you'll stick around and enjoy that. Bon appetit. All right, so I'm going to pulverize these. Now these, I want to get a damp, because remember we did our rosemary here. I just want to make sure I have like all the excess rosemary out. Let's get all that excess rosemary out, because I don't want the rosemary flavor in there. Do not pour water in your spice grinders to rinse them out. I say this again, and I say this from experience. But I poured water into one of these. I held it over the sink. I had it unplugged. I put it over the sink. I put a little bit of water in there. I was swirling around, and the water all came pouring out through the mechanism on the bottom. So don't do that. If you do that, leave it unplugged and just leave it set for about a month or so, and it will get dried out to where you can use it. Hawaii loves loco moco. It was on, I've had it in my like recipes to try, but it was Liz in the OC. I had done if you haven't joined the Discord, ! Discord, in the Discord, I usually do a question of the day, not every day, but I try to do a question of the day. And the question of the day was, what do you guys like to have for hangover foods? What is the one thing that, if you have a hangover, like, that's what I want to eat. And Moco Loco popped up. It was Liz in the OC who had mentioned Moco Loco. And I was like, all right, we're going to do Moco Loco. Oh, where's my note? Where's my note? Hang on. Is that over here? 542. 542. The back of my car is filled. Filled, I tell you. Okay, so we're going to pulverize. I'm going to pulverize some mushrooms individually to make sure that I get them good and pulverized. And I'm not doing like, I'm going to do probably 3 shiitakes and a couple of the 542 cans and boxes and stuff of food is going over there. I am telling you that just blew me away. All right, let's see if I can pulverize these. Let's see what happens. January 5th is the final date for my item to arrive. Yes, I get that. Oh, thank you, Victoria. 542 cans. I want cold pizza. Wait, who has cold pizza? Who's not sharing the cold pizza? Maya. Maya, do you have cold pizza and you're not sharing it? This one does not want to pulverize, so we'll pulverize that one next. Let's put this into a bowl. Now I need to go get food myself. I'm starving. All right. I don't know if you'll see it, but we took those shiitakes. We just pulverized those. I'm going to do that now with the creminis, and we're just going to add that to salt. And that's about as simple as it gets. Now this one is definitely one that you want to let set for a little bit because this is a very dried ingredient. This one, we're going to have to take out these big chunks. We'll just do that like that. My mom has that uncanny sense to get all that umami in there. All that good umami in there. My mom right now, bless her heart, she's older. Things are happening. One of the reasons why I want to get down there. And sometimes she responds to messages from like 4 days ago or 5 days ago. Okay, I don't want to miss out on this because I'll finish grinding these up later. I just want to get out the big chunks. We don't have the big chunks in there. Actually, this. There we go. That's good. All right. So I have about a tablespoon and a half of shiitakes, a tablespoon and a half of the cremini mushrooms. Again, our salt. Now this goes a lot faster when you're by yourself. I will say that. The liquid from the rehydrated shiitakes is liquid gold. That is so true. That is so true. And by the way, guys, today when we get done here,
come meet our family.
I gotta get on the Moco Loco. We're gonna be raiding out to Texas Cryptid today. So I've already got my rice over here. Let's go ahead and get our rice cooking. Rice doesn't take that long to cook. A lot of it, you can get it boiling, and then once it simmers, and you let it simmer for a little bit, and then when you start seeing that the water's being absorbed, I didn't know if I was using the right word. Jeez, am I having a stroke? You can turn off the heat. Once the water's been like 90% absorbed, you can turn off the heat and just let it sit there. It will stay hot for an hour and it will finish cooking and it'll be absolutely perfect. All right. Just gonna rinse this a couple times. Some of my rice I will rinse a lot. Some of it I don't. This is just plain white rice. There we go. I do not salt my rice. Usually whatever ingredients are that I'm putting on top of the rice is salted enough. But I do always start it in cold water. I'll be right back over there. So I do one cup of rice about 1.5 cups of water. Now I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should do the finger, where you put your finger in and you put water in up to the top knuckle. Well, that's subjective to me. If I'm doing a cup of rice in a big pot or a smaller pot, that's going to change. Oh, what a cool stove. What are the 3 different departments? So this here is my oven or hot box. There's no light in there, it's just an oven. This is the broiler, but the burner's only this big. You can't broil in that thing to save yourself. These are the 4 little burners here. And then underneath here is where all of my cast iron is stored and my utensils to keep up the stove and do maintenance and stuff on the actual stove itself. So she's 88 years old. All right, so here we have, this is one of the really good salts to put on steaks. Just blow that over there. This is just mushrooms and salt. If you want to put some black pepper in here, you can put some black pepper in. And everybody's fingers are different, but they usually say, oh yeah, go up to the first knuckle. Well, if I have a pan that's this big, if I put a cup of rice into a pan this big and I go up to the first knuckle, I'm probably adding 4 or 5 cups of water. If I go into a pan, it's like, oh, this is my little pan here. I'm not adding enough water. So many people do love my stove. Like I said, I think people tune into the stream for her, more so than for me. Because they're like, what? That is so cool. I thought I had one more jar down here. I don't. So we're going to put some of it, we're going to put it into here. We'll put it into here, and then I will find a jar after stream. She's a pretty stove. And like I said, you need to label these. Trust me when I say you need to label these, because if you don't label these, particularly the vanilla salt, you have to label the vanilla salt, because somebody's going to think it's vanilla sugar or cinnamon sugar. We should have a birthday party for Lady Belle. Oh, that'd be cute. I actually have the original advertisement for her, which I think is funny. But mushroom salt, great on baked potatoes, and incredibly good on baked potatoes. It's one of those type of things where you just get this, somebody's eating it like, what is that flavor? Because it's really good. Okay, we'll finish that. We'll finish boxing that one up later. All right, so let's move all of this. I have to keep all of this because we're going to need that for later. And now, so for today, we don't need our limes. I'm going to be using one of those limes tonight. Oh, yes, sirree, indeedy. Yes, sirree, indeedy. So we have, hey, I said close up. There we go. So we have this is our lime and chili. Trying to catch the reflection. Lime and chili salt. We have our sriracha salt, so our nice spicy salt. I'm going to add some heat. This is rosemary and lemon zest that we put inside here. This is really good to finish on like pork chops, beef, fish, any of those. And then this is our vanilla salt. This is our finishing salt for desserts. So you add that little bit of salt element, particularly for your ice creams, your brownies. Not a lot. You just want to do a little tiny bit. Oh, Araya, no, I had her before we moved up here. I knew she was going into the house when we were going to move up here. I got her, oh, and then the mushroom salt. So we have all these different salts that we made today. Whoops, let's go this way. Everybody shimmy, everybody shimmy. But all these different salts that we made today, and these are things that I will be using throughout the year. So she's an absolute treasure. I got her from my chef instructor when I was in culinary school. My chef instructor, after I graduated culinary school, we became good friends. And I told her, I want right of first refusal. That if you ever get rid of her, I want her. She was in her home, and she called me up one day and said, I can't keep her anymore, I'm moving. Do you want it? And I said, I'll be down there tomorrow. And we did. Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, knowing what I know now, I stole that stove. I let her set the price. You tell me how much you want for it. And that's what's called right of first refusal. You tell me how much you want for it, and I'll let you know if I can afford it. All right, let's make our meat mixture, and let's get this cooking. I have to manually light her. There is a pilot light that you can utilize here, but I have that sealed shut. because I don't trust it. Not that I don't trust Lady Belle Blue, but I don't trust the Pilot Light. And let's get a lid. So I don't need this on anymore. I use that to do the rosemary that we did. Yeah. Oh, there are so many different salts. One of the ones I didn't make on here was house salt. House salt is what I put on the outside of a prime rib. It's also good just to put on a steak if you're going to season a steak and do a steak. And it's the simplest of all of them. So you would do about a half a cup of your kosher salt and about a quarter of a cup of, no, not a quarter of a cup, an eighth of a cup of like fresh cracked pepper, and the same amount for garlic powder. Now you could also you could take roasted garlic, form the garlic into a paste. So after you roast the garlic and form it into a paste, do kind of like we did with the sriracha. Mix it all together. You can put it, if your oven goes down at a low enough temperature, you could put it in at a very low temperature and just let it dry out. You're not cooking it, you're just letting it dry out. We don't we don't have a gas at the new house and I miss it. Yeah, we don't have gas here, so we ran propane tanks. I've got, for my kitchen, I have 2 propane tanks out on the other side of the dining room over here, and that runs my my stove and my dryer. It does run my dryer, so yeah. Lived in Hawaii for a year. Loco Moco is the best thing for hangover. That's what so many said, Cletus. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. I put in there, so if you guys haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord, because when I put questions out to you guys, a lot of times it has to do with, okay, what are we gonna do next month? And it gives me ideas. And then I will often, like I said, one of the questions of the day was, what do you eat for hangover food? And Liz in the OC said, Loco Moco. And here we are. We're gonna do Loco Moco. So let's get out our hamburger. Let's get out the hamburger. We wanna get this up to temperature. Where is my bowl that I was gonna use for this? Let's add in our seasoning. We're also going to do some, if we have time, we'll do some zucchini fries. I can actually cut those up real quick while this is sitting here warming up. Warming up. Thank you, Jedi, for putting, there's the link to the Discord. And if you guys have ideas, I've got a channel in there that says stream ideas. If you have ideas that are feasible for me to do, we'll do them. We'll do them. And you know what I think we're gonna do? For some of the, so instead of doing salt and pepper, mushroom salt is going to go inside of our, Loco Moco. What? Oh, I have ideas. We're going to do the white rice. I'm just going to do the plain white rice. That's the recipe I actually have here that I pulled up. Rip this thing up over here. The real question, yeah, I know. What are we making? We're making Loco Moco. And Lazy Dumper, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here. Happy New Year. And how did you find us? Okay, so we're gonna get out. I buy lean ground beef. Even our cat, no, not our cattle that we bought they did it all in lean. So I'm gonna have to add a little bit of flavoring to this to make our gravy. So we'll just do butter. We'll just add some butter to that to make our gravy. So for this, we are going to mix together our ground beef. Oh, gotta get some minced onion, soy sauce. For soy sauce, I am doing gold labeled dark soy. I like the flavor. Not to say that Kyokomans isn't good. That's good. That's like everyday stuff. But when I want good flavor, I'm gonna use we're gonna use a good soy sauce. But we gotta get some onion. There we go. All right, so we're gonna need, this is where it's subjective. So this is where you have to read your recipe and you kind of have to gauge. Let me get out a whole one. So it says on here, 1 small onion diced. This is the size of my onion. If I dice this, it's gonna almost be a ratio of 50% onion, 50% beef. So think about that when you're adding ingredients to things, where it says one small onion. Small is very subjective. If they had said 1/4 cup of diced onion, that's where that triggers inside there, right? It's just nuts. So we're gonna dice this. We're gonna dice this up. I'm just gonna actually cut this off for right now. What was that sound? Oh, he turned on the water for his. So for our onion, we're going to do about 1/4 cup of onion. And I'm going to cut up a little extra because we need that for our gravy. Hey, Cece, how are you doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Did you celebrate last night? Did you do anything fun? Barking in the sand. Wait, who's barking in the sand? Although everyone in Kauai tells travelers to go to Maui to keep this island to ourselves. I always said that when we went to Italy many, many moons ago, when we went to Italy, I did a lot of research before we went. And the research I did was, and it was funny because I didn't realize that over there at the time, this was a while ago, okay? But at the time, what they considered adults, and they consider like the grown-ups of anybody like over the age of 40, never wear jeans. It's considered like, no, you don't wear jeans, you wear slacks. So we wore slacks. But I would ask the locals, where do you go for pizza? Where do you go for pasta? You know, and most of them were so nice and so helpful. We had some great, great food. Where was it? We went to Rome. We spent 2 weeks in Rome. You can do just 2 weeks, like right there. There's so much going on right there. We walked everywhere. The churches, you cannot go into, I don't remember the name of the church, but it used to be, the monks had the mausoleum down below where you could go down. That's all closed off now. Apparently, some people abused that privilege of going down and paying respects and whatnot, so you can't do that anymore. But there's so many different things. Cece, I sent you a message on Discord. I sent you a private message on Discord. But there's, and the, Le Cordon Bleu, Duchess. And the Colosseum is incredible to see. I wish we had done the night tour of the chambers below the Colosseum. I understand that is fantastic to do. That's okay, Cece. I heard that's absolutely fantastic to do. And the other thing that we didn't get to do, because I got sick on the trip, was that we were going to go over to Pompeii and do the entire day trip over in Pompeii, and I got sick and we couldn't go. So we just kind of stayed local, and we had some great food. Okay, so in here we have 1 pound of ground beef. We're going to add 1/4 cup of panko. And we're going to add some soy sauce. About 1/4 cup. All right. That's about 1/4 cup. Ah! Okay, well, I got to fix that. The little ceiling ring is not in there very good. I'm going to dice this up a little bit more. And some of the onion's going to go on the floor for later. Oh my gosh. I love the fact, I did a gathering. There was about 18 of us, different food and drink and creative, like arts and crafts people, that we all got together in Texas for a week. And we didn't see each other like every single day that we were there. Like on this day, like one day I was just over in Dana's kitchen. It was just she and I and Robbie. And then she hosted a dinner for everybody, and some people were at that one, and Pantry Elf hosted a dinner for some. So it was a lot of fun. I'm already planning